And what is up, everybody? Welcome back. It is Friday night. We're here with the Average Boys podcast. I'm here with the other voice of the Average Boys, Trigger, my dude. What is up, my boy?
What's going on, dude? It's been a pretty good week this week. Got our systems back, so
Excellent,
I'm able to do work for the most part. We still don't have our printer, so
hey, man, that's pretty good though, man. I mean,
Yeah.
shit, you've been kind of doing manual labor in
Dude, you
weird
have
ways.
no fucking idea. No shit. I scanned like 60 something items today, and I had to use my phone to do it.
Oh, that's
Like,
weird. Oh, you know what? That reminds me of like the way they are at Walmart, man.
Yeah, it's like, and like it scans it, makes it a PDF, and then I send it up. And dude, it was a bitch and a half.
That's real crazy, man. It's very, I guess, awkward when technology is taken from us, when we don't really cherish it as much as we should.
It was actually super funny that you mentioned that, because like I was talking with one of the managers and I was like, I am never ever going to take for granted my the scanner again.
The procedures you guys have already, make it a lot easier. Well, dude, I mean, that's like going on right now, man. The area that we live in is being hit by a really strong cold front, huh?
Yeah, man.
So the entire area that we live in is going into like this
weird
awkward
cold front. Like,
let's get ready, man. Everybody's scared.
Dude. It's so funny because, like, as soon as I saw this weather, and I was like, man, Texas ain't ready. Then there was
dude, but I feel like
pile up in Dallas.
Oh yeah,
killed like 8 people and shit. It was crazy.
Oh man, I just feel like the way the valley acts sometimes, it's kind of like when that hurricane hit. Like everyone was kind of like, whatever, and then it like decimated us for a couple like weeks, dude. So it's one of those things that I feel like no one's taking any chances right now, which I don't think they should. We all have standalone space heaters and stuff like that in my house because we don't have the heater for central air and heat. We just have the cold part. But yeah, man. So we got our heaters all set up. Everything's pretty cool. Like, but if you guys are out there and you guys are needing to find shelter, I know that call your local city officials and stuff like that, because I know that they're setting up in-house shelters and certain areas with the city halls and stuff like that. Make sure you guys give them a call. Don't risk it for the biscuit. This cold weather for Valentine's Day is snuggling weather. So if you have someone, snuggle up. If not, let's keep each other safe. Yo, Jake, what's up? How's it going, everybody in the comments? Robert, Kyle, Oz, how you guys doing, man? It's been a cool week, man. A cool week nonetheless. Very chill, very relaxed. I know that there was some stuff in the news that, of course, that's driving a bit of people crazy, but we're not here to do anything like that. What we're here to do is we're here to disconnect, take you all away from that, jump into a conversation with us about some nerdy, cool shit. And there's some really cool, nerdy shit going on right now, man. Even though it's a little slow, there's some big moves, man. Did you see what's up with the Zack Snyder cut? Did you see the fucking trailers?
And you know what,
the little hit bits, bro?
And you know what, dude? And I fucking knew it, bro, because I was like, it's gonna come out. Like, some more stuff is gonna start coming out, and you know what? I think it's gonna turn Chris's judgment.
Oh man, dude. I feel kind of bad now because, like, if I'm not mistaken, like Rob, man, our dude, he put up last week about what do we think about the Joker and the Snyder cut, and I kind of like I went a little off on the whole Snyder idea because it's kind of been weighted.
Snyder cut's gonna be
and you know, Snyder has a tendency to kind of tickle us in a little way, but after seeing the small trailer release that they did, I want to say yesterday on his Twitter or on his Instagram. And for like a split second, you see Steppenwolf in the back standing next to Darkseid, and then you see what's her face? Granny Goodness, dude. Granny fucking Goodness. And I'm not even lying. You can ask Trigger. When I got on the chat earlier when we were setting up, I was like, holy fuck, dude. Granny Goodness, dude. And she looks comic accurate. Same thing with Steppenwolf and like his weird druid outfit. Like, it's starting to look really promising, dude. And I know there's a lot of people.
I actually kind of thought that it was Big Barda, and it still kind of could, because Big Barda is a little bit thinner than Granny Goodness, because Granny Goodness is a fat chick.
Yeah, she's a big lady. Yeah. I think she's more built than fat.
Yeah, you probably
because
right.
I think she's just a hulk of a lady, dude. But they always draw her so badass.
Yeah,
And I like
dude,
her. She always has like
Kyle,
huge hair.
and then Kyle has followed our recommendation on WandaVision. You know,
Very, very good.
yeah,
Daniela, good friend of mine. Hi, Denny. You're probably I wouldn't doubt that you're probably the only one that hasn't jumped on the WandaVision bandwagon yet.
at
It's
least
highly
for our
recommended.
viewers. Yeah.
Highly recommended, especially right now.
Oh my
Because when it
god,
first
dude, it's
started up,
finally starting to pick up.
yeah, when it first started off, I was, me and Trigger were there too, where we were saying that it started off very slow. The first 3 episodes are very, very slow.
Because
But
they gave nothing. Like they really gave nothing away. And like
yeah,
I thought the like kind of like hindsight a little bit, like I'm not saying that I'm glad that they didn't give anything away, but at the same time, I was kind of like, bro, you got to give me something here.
yeah.
Something.
But I
And,
mean, right now, like if you break it down, if they were to release all 8 episodes at once, like it makes sense.
yeah.
But since it's so stretched out, and I think it's because of the material that they're trying to make it last, because they don't want to release Black Widow. I don't know if you saw that today. Kevin Feige's like super like a disagreement with the idea of releasing Black Widow as a premium on Disney.
Yeah.
Like he's super against it. He wants to do the theater release. He wants to make it just theater like by itself theater solid. But like today, I think if I'm not mistaken, I just saw on the news that a theater, one of the biggest theaters in San Antonio, closed down forever.
No.
Yeah,
Really?
like, and it's one of those things that's really, really sad. Where it's like, what happens now? I think right now, with the idea of like the vaccine going on with the coronavirus and all that other stuff, like a lot of things are starting to slowly get back to the way things were, a little bit more normal. But do we think theaters will survive another 5, 6, 7 months of us not having audiences?
I think it can, but I think it's going to be like on one of those like very, very like limited basis. Like there
You think it'll have to be like GameStop?
Dude, and I mean now there's only one GameStop on 10th, and that's just the one near Best Buy on North 10th, like closer to Edinburgh. I don't know, man. Like it's kind of one of those things where like it's really we're just gonna have to wait for it to play out.
Yeah,
I think that's really what's gonna have to happen. We're just gonna have to really let it play out, see what's gonna end up happening, because a lot of these bigger franchises, like I know that they're all suffering. They have to be. There's no fucking possible way that they're not. But honestly, for me, like one thing that I hope never closes down, or at least I'm not around for when it does, is that Cinemark, the Hollywood Cinemark on
the Bistro.
No, the one on the one on Nolana.
Oh, the old school one, the original Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean that would be that'd be kind of sad if it closed down.
Yeah, dude.
Same. I was gonna click on this one. This one right here. Daniela makes it very clear.
I do too. I do too. I've stated many times, on this channel that like I love the movie going experience, and you know what? The shitty part is that I barely remember what it's like anymore. Yeah.
And then Oz jumping on the Dogecoin Wall Street bandwagon. Buy movie stock. I don't even know if that would save it right now. Really, me personally, I think it's going to be a very horrendous situation that's going on with what's going on with theaters. But it's been a long time coming if you think about it. Like for years, I mean, when we were going to movie theaters and doing all that stuff, it had gotten to a point where going to see one movie with someone was costing almost $50. You know what I mean? Like just going out there, watching a film. Water was $4 when you can buy it for $1 at the store. Snacks were $5. A hot dog was $6. Like, there was a lot of inflation that was going on in theaters. And they were the first people to be cut when this pandemic hit, where people realized that they didn't need that stuff. And then all of a sudden, all these theaters started being where it's like, 99-cent films, come check this out. We got all these films that are coming out right now. We're going to show them for this price and that price. Like they started giving us what we could have had in the very beginning, but inflation kind of killed it during that time.
Yeah.
So what I think is going to happen, even when things kind of fluctuate out, is all of these big movie companies, instead of dealing with the middleman of the theater, They're gonna start their own streaming services and allow people to watch their films at home. Which I'm one of those people that's like, you know what, dude, like there are times where I want to go to movies to go on a with a person to person or and whatnot. But the idea of me not having to wait 8 hours to see a Star Wars movie or wait a previous day to wait in line and then rush to try to get seats and for you to be with like 5 people and to only get one seat and be separated. And to know that I could sit with 5 of my friends or my whole family at my house, make popcorn and slow it all down, or even buy my own projector and put it up real big at my own personal place, I would prefer that over anything else, man. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, to me, I love the idea of the theater. I like the idea of going over there and experiencing it, but I can find that experience any other place. Even the idea of when the cities would show films in the park.
Oh yeah,
I love those, dude.
Yeah,
I really like. I enjoy those.
You know where I would actually like to go again, and I haven't been to one in fucking years, dude. A drive-in theater.
Yes, drive-in theaters right now you would think are the most prominent thing, and I wouldn't even doubt Westmer in Mercedes is still up.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't doubt if it was still available because of the fact that, like, right now, if you go to Westmer, you watch a movie, you could stay in your car and be comfortable and not be around anybody. You know what I mean? I think the only problem would be like going to the bathroom or something like that.
Fuck it, dude. I got a piss bottle.
Hey, so what else is going on? What else do we got on the news? Keanu Reeves. I heard Keanu Reeves.
Also, speaking of movies and, cinema, there's the whole Gina Carano thing that we're not really going to touch on with like the political side, but, she has now officially been let go from Lucasfilms and will no longer be associated with them.
Yeah, the character that played Cara Dune in The Mandalorian has been let go. It's sad to hear, but that's on their own fruition. We're sad to see her go, but Disney's the one that's making choices, of course, for things like that, and they will handle their situation on their own. We're sad to see her go, but things happen, man. Things happen, and it happens all the time. Look at the way it was with that chick from Aquaman, dude. With Johnny Depp.
That was like the direct comparison that they were making. They were like, bro, like, how is fucking she gonna get, to keep her job, and like basically admitting to fucking, hurting this dude, and like she made some stupid posts and now she's fired. Yeah, I don't fucking know, dude. That's why WWE owns that shit. Not.
That's why it's very like, I don't know how they come up with ways to deal with the situation, because you want to please, of course, your audience and your fan base and all this stuff, but you want to be justified. You want to be justified for your situation. And it's just, I think sometimes it's one of those things like in any other business, when it gets kind of just out of hand, you just fucking like, all right, everybody just get out. I think it's just one of those things. And I think that's what happened with the situation. And then instead of them trying to PR the situation or anything like that, they were just like, hey, it's better just to cut loose and we'll take it from there. So
yeah.
Oz asks, do we think there's going to be a recast?
Who knows, dude? Who knows?
Yeah, I really don't think so. I think they could just write her off in the story as like that she went off on a mission. I mean, that's probably the easiest thing that they could do for the Star Wars in that situation.
Well, they gave her a decently good out, with the whole, like, when she was presented the coin, for the Resistance and stuff like that. And
yeah. So, I mean, for what it is, Star Wars will find a way. It always finds a way.
Not always a good way.
What's up, man? How we doing? Renex Gaming, how's it going, man? Welcome to the chat. But yeah, definitely. The other thing that I saw that I was pretty interested in, which is what I kind of mentioned a while ago, was Keanu Reeves, man. He'd been making some noise when it came to the Marvel universe, or I would say more in the Sony, because if I'm not mistaken, they just recently reached out to him and they said they wanted to bring him in as Kraven.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Kraven the Hunter, man, out of the Spider-Man franchise. What do you think about that, Triggs?
I remember Kraven being Australian or some shit like that. And because like he was like real big on the safari and like the big game hunts, and obviously he's like one of Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery and stuff like that. So, it's really cool, but he's also like one of those like anti-hero redeemable characters. So, I mean, it would be a pretty good fit for
Keanu.
Yeah, for Keanu. And on top of that, dude, like Matrix 4 is coming to a head. On top of that, and like not to get like super duper in depth with the Matrix and stuff like that, because like there's actually a channel that I follow on YouTube called it's called the Matrix, the Matrix some
There has been some talk about the Matrix recently. I'm not gonna lie, I've been seeing some stuff come up.
Like he had to finish filming John Wick 4 before that particular scene could be shot, supposedly, because his head is shaped. And so like now there's a speculation that like he goes back into the pods and he's basically being like rebirthed essentially. And that's where like it could possibly come in. And there's a whole lot of speculation and shit like that when it comes to
it's really crazy to think about, because like once you're out of the pods in the Matrix, I believe that just with any of the systems, you should be able to jack back in with whatever they have, like in the Nebuchadnezzar and all that stuff. Right now, we're talking about Matrix stuff. In case you guys are not aware what the Nebuchadnezzar is, it's the ship that Morpheus flies. So just letting you know. I don't want to be saying weird. I don't want to say Nebuchadnezzar and someone's like, "Are you guys talking Bible?"
So speaking of Nebuchadnezzar and Morpheus, it's actually really, really funny that you mentioned that, because the Matrix Online game is canon. The Wachowski sisters have labeled that as canon.
The video game?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Morpheus dies in the game.
What?
Yeah, he's killed in the game.
So what happens in the film? Is the game after the film?
No, well, the game is after the film, after the third film, because there are.
You're talking about fragments. The Path of Neo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not Path of Neo. The Matrix Online.
Oh,
it was the online. It was the MMO for
MMO.
Yeah.
Fuck, I even forgot about that, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Holy shit. But that's got to be like years after.
It picks up right after, because there is a scene in the game where Morpheus is like upset with the Oracle. He's like, the machines are breaking the treaty. Like they need to release his body, and they're like, and she's like, well, I don't know if they will, and so that's kind of where this new movie it might be taking place on, is the fact that the humans want Neo back.
Yo, straight up, we have to have, dude, we're listing so many episodes we got to have, but we're going to have to probably have a deep dive in the Matrix, man. It sounds like especially when the next Matrix movie's coming up, people that are fan of the series were left on such a random cliffhanger, even though it was a good ending to a story, but it left the craziest question, which is, well, what happens to Neo?
Exactly.
Was he a martyr for the human beings? Do they release the rest of the humans, which I doubt they're going to do. But what I think they're going to do is they're going to allow almost like a Mormon faction of human beings that are going to walk around the Matrix on the inside and be like, do you have a moment I could tell you about the real world? That would be like the greatest story, where that's how the Mormon religion was started in the Matrix.
That's fucked up, dude.
They just go around and be like, sir, do you have a moment I could tell you about reality? I can tell you about our Lord and Savior, the Matrix.
I don't really know much, so I'm going to just sit back here and watch.
Oh, thanks, Renix.
Thank you for your review.
Actually, Renix, if you get an opportunity, I don't know how young you are, man. You might be a young guy, but The Matrix is a trilogy that stars Keanu Reeves. It was, I want to say mid-2000s, I guess. And it's probably still one of the greatest films alive, dude. All the trilogies, you got to go watch them. They're great. There's even a really, really great animated film called The Animatrix, which a bunch of animation artists get involved in, which is like Japanese animation and American artists all jump in on it. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and it tells the history of all that stuff. So if you get an opportunity, The Matrix, but we'll definitely for sure have to revisit this, dude, because it is such an awesome story, man.
Chris,
such an awesome story.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I am the shittiest co-host. I did not know that we had a Twitch.
So I told you. It's not necessarily okay. So I'll explain it right now. So this show multi-plays or multi-streams on a YouTube channel by the name of The Average Boys, but I can't get to the idea of it being called www.youtube.com/The Average Boys, because you have to have 100 subscribers and you have to have this and that, and there's a lot of stuff. But on our Twitch, I have it directly connected to my Twitch, which is ChrisP, The Average Boys on Twitch. If you ever get on Twitch and you want to see my gaming stuff, well, where you can still find me on Facebook. But yeah, man. So right now we have a guy, Renix Gaming from Twitch, checking us out. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. But yeah, going back. So Keanu Reeves was offered the part of Kraven the Hunter in Spider-Man recently, which is a good call, because I mean, if Keanu Reeves took that role, that would be huge for Sony and it would be huge for Spider-Man. I don't think it would be huge for Keanu though.
I mean, it could possibly.
Dude, because I could see a million different roles Keanu playing in the Marvel universe. Like, even if he wanted to, and if he wanted to play, I mean, he doesn't play good villains though. If you remember The Man from Wing Chun or whatever that movie that he did a while back, he's really bad at being a villain. But you could see him playing a Doctor Doom. You could see Keanu Reeves if they reprise the role or if they give anybody the opportunity. A Mephisto. I mean, I could have even seen him as like a Gore the God Butcher. I could see him playing like a huge cosmic entity or something. Like, rather than just a Taskmaster. I don't know, man. I don't see him as a Taskmaster. What would you really see Keanu Reeves being in the Marvel universe? What do you think, Triggs? In the Marvel universe, if you had the opportunity to slow it down and say, okay, cool, Keanu Reeves wants to be a part of this, let's make him a person in it. Who would you make Keanu Reeves? Hi, Joanne.
Dang, man, I really don't know.
It's a good question. It's all it is. Like, for me, there was someone a while back that put up the dude from The Walking Dead as Ghost Rider. Right? What's his face? The motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot off the
Johnny
top.
Blaze?
Which one?
Johnny Blaze?
Yeah, as Johnny Blaze. Like him playing Johnny Blaze, which is the dude from The Walking Dead. I forgot
Negan?
No, not Negan.
Morgan?
No, the other guy. The one that's friends with the one with the crossbow. Daryl.
Oh, Daryl Dixon. Yeah.
Yeah, Daryl Dixon. I forgot his real name. Huh?
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus. That he could play dude, I'm 100% him being Johnny Storm. Or not Johnny Storm, but Johnny Blaze. Dude, he would be a really great Ghost Rider. He would be a really solid Ghost Rider. But the idea of Keanu Reeves being someone, I don't know, man. Like, off the top of my head, I can't even think. He would be I'm not going to lie. I would love to see him. Shit, man. No, you can't even do that, because they already did that. I was going to say, like, you could put him possibly as like Marvel, like the original Marvel. The Silver Surfer, that would be interesting. Oh, you know what? What if they made him Wonder Man? What if they wanted to bring in Wonder Man and they made it Keanu Reeves?
Wonder Man's a stout dude.
Yeah, he's a stout individual.
He's a big motherfucker.
Hey,
dude.
well, Keanu Reeves, the way he's drawn in Berserk the comic, he looks pretty stout too, man. I ain't gonna lie. He looks good, man. That comic book looks sharp. If I'm not mistaken, guys, you need to pay attention, because Kaboom Comics, Ramsey just posted up that they're getting a comic book that's signed by Keanu Reeves, a #1 in Berserk. So if anybody's out there, I don't know if he's selling it.
I actually kind of want to pick that up, to be honest.
Dude, I want to read that, man. It looks fantastic, man. It looks fantastic. Yo, Ozzy, man. Ozzy with the call. That is a good call, dude.
As Richard Rider?
Richard Rider.
You know what?
Being that they might do, this is what we were talking about earlier too. How they're streamlining the Young Avengers. They're streamlining the champions. They're bringing in a lot of these young people.
You know who I could see as Richard Rider? Armie Hammer.
Armie Hammer would be solid.
As
I'm
Richard
not gonna
Rider.
lie. I think he's been in the news a little bit too, right? Like he's
No, Ozzy, not Berserk as in the anime. Berserk,
yeah, no, not the anime
new concept. It's like an immortal. Like, think of Old Guard, but it's a dude, and only one dude.
Army Hammer would be a good call, but I want to say he's been recently in the news with something. I know that he's coming out in Godzilla versus King Kong, right? Is he in that? I want to say he's in that. Don't quote me on that, but I want to say that he might be in King Kong versus Godzilla.
Wow. Yes, there's a safe way to have the cannibalism finish. Wow. This guy might be so people were saying that Army Hammer was a cannibal, and his lawyers have come out and said that was bullshit.
That he's a cannibal?
Yeah.
Where did they even get that idea from? What the hell,
no
dude?
Fucking clue, dude.
Yo, okay, so that's the other one, Sal. Sal makes a good point too. He says, well, what about Adam Warlock for Keanu Reeves? Now, I know I've seen some fan art of him as Adam Warlock. And it's an interesting concept too, man. But I just don't know, because with the way that they portrayed the way the characters act in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I'm thinking that Adam Warlock is going to be a very douchey, very conceited individual. And I don't know how Keanu Reeves can pull that off. And the last time I saw him pull something off like that would have to be that weird, what was that Asian movie where he played the boyfriend, where it's like the Asian girl dating, and he came out, he was like the boyfriend for a bit, and he plays like this really like chauvinistic, artistic guy. You never saw that, dude? Oh, it's so funny, dude. It's so funny. I just can't remember the name of it. I just can't remember the name of it, but it looked really, really good. But yo, I would actually like to see the guy who plays Negan, or even who else? Nah, the guy that plays Negan would do good. To play like a Doctor Doom. I'm really wanting to see a Doctor Doom in the Marvel universe. That's what I would be. That's what I would pay for. Really, really, really. I would love to see a Doctor Doom. Being that the Fantastic Four film came out and it wasn't very sharp, it needed to be cleaned up. I know that there's a lot of people out there right now that are kind of like fan fictioning for the idea of them putting in a cast list who they would recommend for the Fantastic Four.
I know that they like fan casted Emily Blunt and
the guy from The Quiet Place.
Yeah, and John Krasinski.
Yeah, and dude, they look fantastic, dude.
Yeah, and they're married in real life. So
yeah, I mean, like in real life, they're super fantastic together. And then to see them play those two roles, I think they would do great.
You know, actually, Army Hammer would probably be a better Adam Warlock. He's got that pretty boy face that he could be. But as far as like anyone in Marvel, dude, it has to be a burly character, someone scruffy, because that's kind of because that's just kind of who he is right now.
Oh, what about Juggernaut?
I get that a lot of people are like Craven, and I'm like, but Craven's scruffy, but he's like that pretty boy scruffy.
You know what, Sal, and I saw that earlier too. I think Oz said it, or Robert. Like the Silver Surfer could be a really great role for Keanu Reeves. Just to hear him say, whoa, if like he sees space for the first time on the board, because that would give what was that movie that he made a while back?
If he was in that movie and he said excellent, I would fucking die, Paul. Excellent.
Well, that was what was that movie that he made a while back, which was the surfing movie. Remember, they made fun of it in Avengers. They called Tony Stark calls Thor that.
Yeah, Point Break.
Point Break, yeah, dude.
Yeah. He was like, you got a mean swing there, Point Break.
You gotta, yeah. That would be really funny if he ends up being the Silver Surfer, just for that reason for me. But yeah, man, I think we need to have a Matrix episode. It's so crazy that Keanu Reeves, God bless that man. He's like a saint. So like, I would love to. Literally, I love to see him as dude. I would love to see him come back as Constantine. To tell you the truth,
like there's going to be another Constantine movie. That's already been confirmed. Will be another one.
Definitely.
And like, yeah, dude, I think you're spot on. Like he would be the perfect Constantine. And with that being said, like it wouldn't be a bad idea if he went into like a more magical role, you know, in the MCU.
Sal put the guy who's gonna play
Carl Urban
would be good for Craven. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are actually out there that are pushing for him to also do Wolverine. Carl Urban's just a great actor overall. He can literally play anybody.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he was perfect in Dread. perfect.
Oh, dude, Billy Butcher, dude, he was perfect.
Yeah,
dude, I'm super excited. I want to see what they're gonna do with the boys next, man. I'm really waiting to see Jensen Ankles come back as, what is it, Patriot Boy, or what is it?
Yeah, I think the Patriot.
Yeah, something like that. What else, dude? Casting, right? This idea of casting has been going on really, really crazy in the last couple of days because, lo and behold, I mean, of course, I'm slightly disappointed by this, but jumping onto another franchise, but getting more into the part that we were talking about that we wanted to kind of cover today, Jack Black has been casted apparently as Claptrap from the
That's right.
Borderlands series.
That's right.
Me, on a scale of 1 to 10, I am not excited. I'd be like a 2 for Jack Black for Claptrap. I don't.
I get why he's a very out there character, or out there actor. I think for me personally, School of Rock was the peak of his career.
Yeah, that's pretty much
it. Tenacious D was not very redeeming. So I understand what you mean, and I agree with it to a point. I think he would be a funny Claptrap because he has the mannerisms that Claptrap portrays. But I get what you mean.
I 100% kind of disappointed because
I think you're just afraid that he would be very lackluster in it, and I completely understand why.
Yeah, that's not even a joke. I believe that. But for me personally, I don't feel like there should be a reason for them to change the voice actor of Claptrap. You know what I mean? Like being a voice actor, like you can do it mostly at any age. I mean, yeah, when you get older, it's harder to the younger voices, but most voice actors, they can get it done. And I don't see why they would need to change out such an iconic character as Claptrap when the character, I guarantee 100% is going to be CG. Right?
Oh, yeah.
100%. So, I mean,
they can kind of do like a BB-8 sort of thing with it, like where it's animatronic to a point and stuff like that.
Maybe. I mean, that would be good too. I mean, animatronics need a little bit of love also. But I wanted to have this discussion about probably one of the greatest franchises in the first-person shooter / RPG genre world. And it's got a huge fan base, man. Huge fucking fan base. I'm talking about the great BoarderLands series. I love BoarderLands. I love it. I think it's an amazing franchise. I can see the planning behind it that made it to where it was such a fan favorite so fast. And I 100% believe it's because of the reason why it was a game that didn't take the sci-fi genre so serious. It was literally like, if you think about it, the writing was very pre-Guardians of the Galaxy style comedy. And then with the cell shading that they decided to go with rather than the regular basic computer graphic design and all that stuff that they were originally going for, because they were originally going to make it just like a regular a video game, and it was going to almost look like a Fallout. And then they just hit it with this cell shading, and from there, I think from that, and then the over-the-top characters, the zany actions, and a fun story, a very fun story, really turned the Borderlands franchise over on its head into something that's a video game favorite to fans all over the world.
Yeah.
I've played all 3 games. I've beaten all 3 games.
I have not played the third one, and I haven't beaten the second one. I know I'm trash. I get it.
No, man, it's just that.
But like, with that being said, dude, like, Borderlands is just such a fucking great concept. Just an amazing concept.
Well, the idea is like, I could understand where people will say, well, I haven't really beaten any of the games, because you can get so lost on any of the levels, like fall in love with any of the side quests and anything. Like, there's just so much to do that's just fun. The original story, if you've ever played the game, Borderlands 1 is very short and very tight with its story. It's pretty much plain and simple. What it kind of gives you is the idea of like you creating your characters, and you literally going around and just collecting loot and just blowing shit up, and the characters make zany sounds. Some of them cuss and say shit and poop and all this. It's just a fun world that they've created.
Yes, thank you, Oz. I was actually just about to say
Tiny Tina.
Tiny Tina is for sure my favorite character of the franchise.
And you know what's really crazy about that is her character was only created in part 2, Borderlands 2. And then of course grown in the future games past that. But when she first got there was a lot of people that loved her. And then when they saw the story and they saw how small her role was, they hated it. Instantly hated it. But then it wasn't until they started introducing more of the lore in part 3 that there was theories that she was the daughter of Craig, which was the psycho that becomes a good guy.
Yeah.
That in some way they're related, that the story behind it, and then the love of Roland and Lilith, making her almost like their daughter and taking care of her and stuff. Like I've been super kind of like up and down about the casting for some of the characters. Yeah. I know that they chose Kevin Hart for Roland, which I'm kind of disappointed in, not because of the fact that I don't like Kevin Hart, but because I don't feel like he is stout enough to play the role. I figure him to be like this, like athlete, big dude, right? Kevin Hart's a small guy, athlete nonetheless, but
wow, he's really going to play Roland.
Yeah, it's super crazy, right?
And Cate Blanchett is starred to play Lilith.
Which I am kind of not for either. I mean, don't get me wrong.
You know who would have been a great Lilith? And I just mentioned her. Emily Blunt.
Cate Blanchett as Hela was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, she's beautiful. Like, nonetheless, she's a beautiful lady. But Cate Blanchett as Lilith, I think that Lilith would kind of portray to be a little bit younger.
A lot younger.
Maybe a little bit younger. I don't want to be rude. I think Cate Blanchett's a beautiful lady, but I think she is not in the age range that Lilith should be in the story. Maybe as a Commandant Steele, we were just talking about that earlier.
Oh, yeah.
You know, someone else that might be.
You know what?
Okay.
Idris Elba could have
100%. Kyle hit it right on the button.
Yes.
Idris Elba was literally the ideal person I had for Roland.
Yep.
Like, I had imagined this person that was like a tough soldier-esque character. Yeah, Terry Crews I could see too.
And you know what?
But you know what?
And another fucking like large black actor who could have also done very well if he had just like bulked up and kind of shredded himself a little bit. Duke Winston, M'Baku.
Yeah. Or, would that happen to be the guy that played
Manape?
Which one?
Manape in Black Panther.
There you go. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. M'Baku.
Yeah,
he was playing M'Baku. Yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking. I just didn't know his name. I just know him as M'Baku because that's such a badass character, dude.
Yeah, dude.
He would be a really cool character. But you know what? This one is very weird because I hate the idea of it, but right now it's looking like a Monster Hunter cast filming, because it's almost all the same characters from Jumanji minus The Rock. And I don't want them to pick Brick as The Rock, because Brick would be the other character. Yeah. And I mean, Karen Gillan would have been a good Lilith as well. Yeah, definitely. I mean, she could have, dude, definitely. But like you know what I'm talking about, right? Like that's literally almost Kevin Hart, Jack Black. If they choose The Rock as Brick, I personally see it as it's probably going to be another Monster Hunter or Jumanji. Or it's just kind of like, it's not going to be really based on the franchise. It's going to be bit more based on a family film to make for kids and be fun, which I get it. Video games are for kids. I would have been like,
this game is not for kids. I mean, it is, but like in a very, very limited capacity.
That's why I thought when they chose Eli Roth as a director, I mean, bro, Inglourious Bastards, Eli Roth, like he's going to be making Borderlands. So bloody, gory, crazy kind of slaughterhouse style filmmaking is going to be where this movie's going to be at, which it has to be because that's the way Borderlands is portrayed. But like, that was one of the biggest concerns is like the character choices. The ones that they're choosing, like for reals, I don't see personally, like Jack Black kind of broke me a little bit with the idea of him being casted as a character for Claptrap. I don't really like it, dude. I don't really like it. I would rather have the original voice actor as Claptrap, at least for him to replace that role. But let's see. Still haven't seen the Monster Hunter movie. Actually, Oz, I haven't seen it, but I have not heard great reviews about it. But of course, that falls on the idea that a lot of these movies that get turned from video games to films end up failing because the companies
he's
that
not
are
just
behind
in the
it,
running. He is Black Adam.
yeah, he's Black Adam.
Yeah, he is Black Adam.
The idea of them picking up these films, these franchise films that have been going on for so long, that the companies that get behind them don't know the story, they just know the game for what it is, and just want to make something just a huevo. That's my fear for like the Metal Gear film. Like the Metal Gear film, I don't want it to be the video game, but I want it to have the same pace and storytelling as the way the video game was. Does that make sense? Like, I don't care how the screenshots look. I don't care about him holding a gun, which is going to look badass anyways. But I care for them getting into crazy detail about nukes in the world, someone getting screwed over 17 different ways. Instead of being a double agent, there's like quadruple agents that are like fucking over someone to fuck over to actually help the first person they were fucking over, like to then eventually be in another group that just wasn't even talked about. Like that's the kind of stuff. That's the espionage. It's the Mission Impossible stuff. I want to see that done correctly. So like Borderlands is a very near and dear franchise to my heart, and I want to see it done right.
And that's why, dude, like I still haven't seen Monster Hunter, and because of just like the such poor reception of it, I'm like, I don't know if I can really bring myself to watch it.
Yeah, man, it's a, oh man, I keep telling people, and I don't mean it out of any disrespect for Mila Jovovich, but she's a franchise killer. Like the moment she touches something, like it ruins it.
And you know what? Speaking of Mila Jovovich, I think the last good movie that I saw her in was The Fourth Kind.
Okay, I could get behind that.
Ozzy mentioned the Last of Us series, Pedro Pascal, and the lady who played the
young lady from
Lady Mormont in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I can get behind that, man. The idea of it is like for zombie films, right? Resident Evil, the franchise, the films, I think they had potential to be something big.
Yeah.
I think they just went with the fantasy of the video game more than just staying deep rooted to the zombie lore. Right? Like that being like, because you look at any other zombie television show, movie or whatever, the ones that kind of stick to like the bare bone of what zombies are really work. Like look at The Walking Dead. Like it really works because of the fact that the zombie virus still really isn't fully explained. It's just, it's there, zombies are there and people are assholes. That's literally what the breakup is, right? Everybody wants to survive and anybody else is a threat.
Yeah.
And that's literally the fucking backbone to what Last of Us is. Like there is a zombie style monster outbreak. People are trying to survive. Some people want to find a cure. Other people have been taken by this apocalyptic situation that the idea of there being some type of hope is gone. And now they're strictly sticking to the idea of just survival. That's why The Last of Us works, because you have these different fractions of idea. And then you're left with Joel and right? Ellie. Yeah. They're the last living survivors, where Ellie apparently has the bloodline for the cure. Joel just has to deliver her to a place where they can kind of take her blood and make a cure for humanity. But then only to find out that at the end, that when he does that, he has to like sacrifice her, or there's some consequence that something will happen to her, but he's built such a connection to her that he doesn't follow through. And that goes off of the old storytelling idea that's like sacrifice one for many or sacrifice many for one. And usually in stories, it's the sacrifice one for many. But what makes this story so good is the person decided to say, fuck the rest of them. I want to keep her alive, and chose the one. But that's why I feel like story-wise, psychologically, when we get that, we're told these stories over and over again as children. We're taught the moral value of all these stories and how it is to be a sacrificial person rather than someone who's greedy and selfish. So that's why I feel like part 2 is such a crazy story.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of people are disappointed that they shit on the relationship that was created and that sacrificed that ending from part 1 to create what they did in part 2 in the beginning. But of course, they built on the story and they built a little bit more and they built more to the lore, which is the same thing that Borderlands 2 did. You know, literally in Borderlands 1, like the story was very cut and dry, where Borderlands 2 is like, yo, we really got something. Like, we really got something. We really need to build. Where a lot of people nowadays are slightly disappointed with part 3 in the storytelling part. Like, how? Okay, so even going back to Borderlands, right? You got all these characters together. Which Borderlands do you think they're gonna tell?
I hope that they go chronologically and they go one, because if they are, then they're already bringing in the original characters. You know, you have Roland, you have Lilith, you're getting your Claptrap. Now we need our Zero and our Brick.
Well, that thing Zero wasn't really explained until part 2. Yeah, because he was a playable character in part 2. He wasn't really there in part 1. The original characters, which are the Lilith, the Brick, those characters are the ones that are. Wait, is it? Shit, I'm super confused now. No, it's not Malekith. What's his name? Malekith? Mordecai. Mordecai, Brick, Roland, and Lilith were the 4 main characters in part 1 that you play with. You were being guided by this character known as the Guardian Angel, and you were going off to find the key to open the vault that's on Pandora.
Oh, yeah, Pandora.
Yeah. And the idea of it was a long time ago, an alien race left a bunch of cool shit in vaults, or they thought a bunch of cool shit in vaults. And these vault hunters want to go around and open them up. There is this doctor named Patricia Tennant. I forgot her name. Let me look her up real quick. Borderlands. Oh, fuck. I don't know how to spell. Sorry about that, everybody. Borderlands characters. I think tennis. Yeah, here we go, boys and girls. Blah, 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 blah. It was the chick. She's the main chick that's involved. She worked with Verdal. Tannis. Yeah, Tannis. I'm still looking. I'm so dumb. Yeah, it's Tannis. Patricia Tannis. You find her in part 1. She's the one that's kind of telling you to go out and do a bunch of stuff and look for the different parts of the keys. But she's telling everybody that there's 4 parts of the keys. There's only 3, but you need a siren, which is the 4th part to unlock the vault.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that the villain of part 1, Commandant Steele, is a siren, which, okay, so sirens, there's always 6 sirens in the universe at one time, and they're mostly females, right?
Yeah.
And I think in one prophecy, someone was like, be weary, don't find the 7th siren. Cool as shit. I love this stuff, even though they never touch base on that for the rest of the games. I love that idea, which also goes to the idea when in the pre-sequels, there's a character that they introduce that is an alien, and he warns them about Handsome Jack bringing a war or someone bringing a war. It's super crazy, dude. There's so much lure in this franchise. And what I love about it is literally all 3 games, actually including the prequel, the pre-sequel, the Handsome Jack stories and all that stuff, like all of them coincide with each other. Like, it's super good on how it coincides with each other. So like in the very first game, like Handsome Jack, everybody knows who Handsome Jack is, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm guessing that anybody who knows Borderlands knows Handsome Jack. In like one of the first games, he's literally just a dude who works for Hyperion, which is like this It's a bunch of franchise companies that are all over the place that are trying to multi-million-dollar mega companies that are trying to steal resources from all the different planets to be the number one place. Literally what it is. It's literally elite companies out there in the world. And Jack wants to climb the ladder. The corporate ladder, I guess you could say. And in the process, he goes around, he's looking to try to unlock the vaults and do all this stuff. And he ends up being like one of them. He uses Angel, who is a siren, to trick all the vault hunters in part 1 to open the vault so he can get to it and get the stuff that's in the vault. And in the process of him doing all this stuff and looking it all up, he literally starts to go crazy in the process. Then he unlocks one of the vaults, finds this relic, I guess you could say, right? And all the relic is like a circle with an upside down V, which is the symbol that they always find that represent the vaults. He touches it, and it bestows to him like this weird philosophy or this weird prophecy of how everything's gonna work. You know, the warrior that's in the other vaults, all the other 12 vaults. It kind of tells him the future. And in that process, then Lilith kind of uses her powers, teleports in front of him, and then punches the relic into his face, which then brands his face with the vault key, which gives you Handsome Jack.
Yeah.
So then he wears like a synthetic mask. He then makes himself the main boss of Hyperion, which is this big old H that's in the sky in the video games. Yeah, it's super crazy, man. How all over the place the story is. Like, I think personally that the movie is probably going to be more based around part 2 rather than part 1. I mean, the reason why is because the characters have more growth in the second video game than the first. I really think they're just going to combine part 1 and part 2.
I mean, they could, but at the same time, dude, you know, they can. There's a pretty good chance that they are just going to take bits and pieces from the original story and then make it an original idea. Which, if we're going to be completely honest, is exactly what they've done with every single video game movie ever.
Yeah,
ever.
I mean, because you have pretty good villains in the first one, right? Which was
Commandant Steel.
The other dude that's in that big mech suit, I forgot his name. I want to say it's like Flynn or something like that.
Yeah.
But then you have the Crimson Lance, which is like this almost like militia that works under, I can't remember what company they work for, but it's big, man. I mean, it's
probably
a big,
like Hyperion or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so there's a bunch of different companies, right? There's Hyperion. There's Dahl. There's what's that motor one? Torque.
Yeah.
There's Torque. There's a bunch of different companies, man.
Then there's like Jacob, right? Jacob something.
Mm-hmm. General Knox.
Yeah.
Yeah, General Knox is one of them. He's the guy in the big mech suit from the first game. And he's a pretty important character and stuff like that. I think with that part, with the Lance and them, the Crimson Lance, I think they can go with a really great story with that. Where you introduce your 5 main characters, which are your Vault Hunters from the original game. And they kind of have to stop the Crimson Lance from getting to the vault first. If they make it like a national treasure kind of video game, where like or movie where everybody's kind of like, Indiana Jones, like an Indiana Jones style film, where everyone's having to get through all of these weird places like temples and shit, where they have to unlock stuff and do things like that. I think it would be a really interesting take on this film like that.
I agree.
Yeah, because they still have to find the apparent 3 pieces of the key, or at least the parts of the key in a way, because I think a character named Sledge breaks the vault key on Pandora with his hammer, and that's how you get the 3 pieces broken into parts. And he's one of the psychos. Like, there's going to be really, really great ways for them to introduce a lot of the factions, the world factions that are in this. And keeping like 1 or 2 of the companies like Malawan, Dahl, Torque, and Hyperion as the major companies that make the weapons. I think that would be great, because then you have your your major players. You have your Jack, handsome Jack. You have that Japanese family that runs Malawan.
Oh yeah.
Like fuck, I forgot his. Oh, and Torque introduces that fucking crazy dude. What's his name? The one that looks like Dr. Disrespect. Remember, he's like, "What's up, motherfuckers?"
Yeah. Dude, oh man, dude, that's how so disconnected I am from the franchise, man. I don't even remember it anymore.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like they haven't really done anything with Borderlands in a while. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, they're about to drop a really badass Valentine's Day. It's like Mad Moxie's something for Borderlands 3. And there's a lot of people that are excited because they just did a Zoom call with the director of the video game, and they're finally bringing back a raid boss. They're finally, because they hadn't had any raid bosses in the recent games. It's only been the major bosses of the games. They haven't had. Let me check it out, because I want to say like the second raid boss in the second game was like the invincible Terramorpha or something like that, Terramorpheus or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that character or no?
Yeah.
Borderlands 3 raid boss. And this one's going to be a Varkid raid boss, which is the big insect. And they just released it. Literally, they're talking about it right now. So if you guys have played Borderlands 3, you're like me. You probably ended up taking it out of your system or deleting it for a little bit because you're probably going to come back to it later, but it just wasn't. Yeah, Mr. Torque. There you go, dude. He's fucking awesome. Dude, Dr. Disrespect, the content creator for YouTube and Twitch and all that, literally reminds me of Mr. Torque. Like, literally reminds me of Mr. Torque. It's so funny. But yeah, they just released a Varkid boss that's going to be coming to the game. Oh, man, I got the hiccups.
Dude, but you know, now that we're talking about it, who would you cast as Mad Moxie?
Oh shit, yeah, like that's another thing too, right? Because Mad Moxie is a real big character in the franchise. Like, I mean, this is the first time we even mentioned her right now, and it surprises me on how big her character is that we haven't even talked about it.
Yeah,
but a Mad Moxie, dude, who could play a really badass Mad Moxie? I don't know, dude. Like off the top of my head, you know what? Like, it's gonna sound stupid, maybe, but I would do like Salma Hayek. Salma Hayek, yeah. You don't think Salma Hayek could play a badass Mad Moxie?
No.
I really think she could, man. Like, she's still in marvelous shape for her age.
I get that, but just because she looks cute doesn't mean she'd make a good Mad Moxie.
I mean, she could play the sexy appeal of Mad Moxie.
I mean, that's true. She can.
Who would you go for? Because that's a hard, man, dude. Off the top of my head, that's a hard fucking cast.
Yeah, dude, that is. Fuck, dude. Karen Gillan. No, honestly, I really.
What's the chick? What? Kate Blanchett. Kate Blanchett or whatever.
You know who I could actually see being a not bad Mad Moxie, only because this kind of fits into her wheelhouse a little bit? The chick who plays Ramona Flowers.
Ramona Flowers? You think so?
Yeah.
You see, and that's because, like, I always picture her to be the tough girl.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it, dude.
Mad Moxie's a tough chick too.
Yeah, I mean, she was Huntress in Birds of Trash.
Yeah, I was gonna say in Birds of No One Saw that movie.
Yeah, in Birds of Trash.
Harley Quinn destroying a franchise in 20 minutes. Like I mean, but that's the thing. Like, I can literally see any person playing that, like any character in this. Margot Robbie. I mean, if you gave her black hair. I mean, you can literally hit it. Yeah, you can hit it. Like that's the thing. You want someone that's very ooh la la, you know what I mean? And Salma Hayek
fit that.
Like, to me, Salma Hayek's always playing that kind of role, but then again, Mad Moxie kind of comes off as this like younger character, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that's the thing. Being that Mad Moxie always comes off as these younger characters, you want to look for a younger character, right? You know what? That wouldn't Christina Hendricks, dude.
Ana de Armas. That's true.
Yeah, Ana de Armas isn't that's not a bad idea either. But Christian Hendricks was the female character that came out in Pedigree House or something like that. Christina Hendricks. Let me look up her stuff real quick. Christina Hendricks. Oh wow, that came up real fast. Oh no. Oh yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Christina Hendricks. Yeah, straight up. She used to come out in Firefly. She was the redhead that came out in Firefly a long time ago.
Yep. I shaved my beard for you.
That'd be funny. Yeah, I could see her playing.
You know what? Yeah. I could give that to her.
Yeah, like almost like a Southern Belle.
Yeah, right? I could definitely do that.
Yep, Christina Hendricks. That would be really, really cool.
Didn't she
I was actually looking
like
at.
Isn't that what she's also known for? Like Mad Men?
Mad Men, the wife, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, dude, what about Haley Atwell for Mad Moxie? Peggy Carter.
Man, it wouldn't be bad.
There's her for a call and Eva Green, which was the villain in the second 300 movie, the girl.
Yeah.
And then of course the girl from, I think her name is Alexandria Daddario.
Oh yeah, Alexandria
Daddario. She was in Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
She could play a good Mad Moxie, but I mean, kind of young. She looks a lot younger than the Mad Moxie character. But yeah, dude, I could see that. I mean, of course, being for the idea of them doing like the first film, them being a little bit younger, them kind of, being that they're going to do the trilogy, right? That they're eventually going to do the first film being that they go after the Destroyer, the second film they go after the Warrior, and then the third film, of course, stopping Tyreen and the Destroyer merging together to create the abomination that Part 3's villain was. Yo, that was a real big upset, man. They built these really great characters in the third film, right? Or in the third game, which was Tyreen and her brother Trey. Yeah, Trey, dude. And they both were really great characters. Them being like this young YouTube generation where they were trying to make videos of what they were doing bad and trying to be like, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to our show. I'm going to put a bullet in this psycho, or look at all these psychos eat each other or whatever. Like, I guess that was a little kind of dumb for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the character development between both characters during the video game was very good. Where you had Tyreen, which is the white-haired girl, the small one. She is a siren, right? But her brother is geez, I keep forgetting his name. His name fucking flies off my radar. He is almost like a leech character where he has the ability to take siren powers. Tyson, right? Is that his name? What did I just say his name was? I can't even fucking remember his name. Troy. There we go. God, man, my brain's all loopy. Yeah, Troy has this ability to kind of like leech powers from Zane. Oh, but you're talking. Okay, so Oz mentions, he's been mentioning a couple characters' names, but I think if I'm not mistaken, they're the playable characters. Now, the playable characters in part 2 are important to part 3. And part 3 characters, they really haven't established their characters in the story bigger yet, if that makes any sense. Part 1's characters got established in part 2 as being story-driven characters. And then the characters in part 2 were story-driven for part 3. It's very weird the way they have it set, but that's what makes Borderlands so good, is it makes you want to go back and play the previous games. Because if you go off, like, let's say if you're playing part 2 and you meet, I think his name is like Heisman or something like that. He's like one of the androids you fight like as one of the first bosses in the video game. Well, he was actually a playable character in the prequel, and he ended up being turned completely into an android. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there's these really, really great callbacks to the previous installments of the video games that kind of encourage you to want to go back and play those. So there's a lot of replayability when it comes to the story, which is amazing about Borderlands. Tyreen and Troy are both the son and or the children of the world's greatest vault hunter. I just forgot his name. He's a little small dude. He's really funny. But the thing is like the way they built their character is they built it based. The whole story is based on like a family story, right? Like everything's about staying with your family and being a family and all that stuff. It's got good homely abilities to it, right? Or a good story plot. But they really lost it because with Troy's character, like it felt more like the idea that he was going to be the major villain in the end. That he was eventually going to steal his sister's powers, kill her, and then be the main bad guy with the way that he kind of like was kind of like going against his sister mid-story.
Yeah.
And then in the very end, you end up killing him. And the sister Tyreen absorbs his power, then absorbs the destroyer or whatever bad guy vault monster, and she becomes a major villain. But it loses that oomph when Troy dies. If that makes any sense. Like it just loses it. Like the character of Tyreen is funny, it's good, but like there is a better build for her brother in that storyline. There is a part of me that hopes that the BoarderLands movie gets to go that far. Like I really, really, really hope that it goes that far. Like, but right now it just seems that with the cast of people they got, minus Kate Blanchett, I can never see her name, Blanchett, and what's the other lady? The one from fucking True Lies, dude. The one that they got for Tyreen or Tanis. What's
Jamie
her
Lee
name?
Curtis?
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis from fucking Friday the 13th or what is it? No.
Yeah, she was in Friday. Well, no, not in Friday. No, it was Halloween.
Halloween, yeah. Like I can see that. Tanis's character is kind of like this this scientist that's kind of gone crazy ever since like all the people left the planet and she's been left to survive on her own. Okay, what is Robert says? I don't know if you guys got to check this out. Anybody wants to? It's a funny show, Resident Alien on Sci-Fi. It's with the guy, yeah. Yeah, it's a really interesting show. I didn't get to see it, but I know the pilots out there. But yeah, man, BoarderLands is an interesting story for them to make a film into. I'm not really crazy about the cast right now. I'm definitely not crazy about the cast. But I hope that they do the story. I'm really excited to see where it goes. And the idea, like we said before, like the franchise of Borderlands is super great. Like it's inspired a bunch of other games, dude. It's inspired. I mean, the thing is like, I think you were telling me about this like yesterday. You were telling me about Anthem, right?
Yeah.
And Anthem is very much the same way as Borderlands, right?
Where you get not really. More the game mechanics. Fact that it's like kind of post-apocalyptic a little bit, but like it has a sci-fi feature to it, you know, obviously. But like Anthem is like when you play Anthem, you're picking up on the story that like something bad has really happened, and you have disconnected from like your original duties as like a soldier apparently, so you become a mercenary. And so like as you like go forward in the game, you know, you're eventually going back into your soldiering a little bit and stuff like that, and you're trying to right certain wrongs, and that's kind of like where Anthem comes into play. But with that being stated, you know, right now Anthem is on the heels of possibly just being completely let go. You know,
the video game, like completely. Why? What happened?
So Anthem was was going to be like essentially like relaunched, kind of like how they did it with Final Fantasy 14, and they were essentially going to make, you know, like I think it was going to be either titled Anthem 2.0 or Anthem Rise or something like that. And they were just gonna like completely revamp the game, make it essentially what it was originally supposed to be, a lot closer to the original trailer that we had gotten. And a lot of people were like, okay, we're a little bit more positive about it, like we're really happy about it. But then the guy who was heading for all of that was moved over to the Dragon Age 4 franchise.
Oh, damn.
Since then, it has been complete radio silence. Complete radio silence. So, like, no one knows anything about what is going on with the franchise right now. And if I remember correctly, this upcoming week, they will be making an official release or an official statement on whether they're going to be continuing with the franchise or not.
What do you think, good or bad?
Oh man, like I want to see it happen. Like I really, really want to see Anthem 2.0. If they were to not make it, I also wouldn't be all that disappointed because I mean, well, it was a failing game, and failing games, kind of just need to be let go, and I understand it, and I'm not gonna cry about it too much.
It's like a hit or miss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Robert asked this question earlier, and I didn't get to it because we were in the middle of the Borderlands conversation. But he asks, "Are you guys crazy for the Falcon and Winter Soldier?" Haha, just kidding. LOL. Yes, actually, I am ecstatic, dude. I'm very, very excited to see what they're gonna do. I mean, I think we've said this before a million times. Marvel can do no wrong, and I
already know that they're gonna knock it out of the park with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
And the reason why I believe the same thing is because of what they did with the Winter Soldier originally. Still to this day, probably one of the best Marvel movies out there.
Yeah.
The Winter Soldier. So for them to get an opportunity to do another ground level comic book film, not this intergalactic flying, shooting laser beams from my hands kind of shit, like them being more grounded, and then an opportunity. Dude, and what's those guys' names? The brothers that make the films?
The Russo brothers.
Man, they're so good at making like war style films, like with Extraction.
Yeah.
Dude, like even off of the idea of Extraction for what it was, like a kind of an original idea, like they killed it, man. They killed that whole soldier essence, dude. Like the cinematography they have for like insurgent war scenario films is so good. So for them to do the Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be great. Yo, I had a quick question about that. Who do you think those people with the masks are?
Dude, I'm really not sure. I'm really, really not. And that's the shitty part, is that like I cannot for the life of me put together like who that could be, or like what like faction or anything like that could be.
Yo, if you remember when the Falcon comic books first started going into the whole, like they made Sam Wilson the Captain America character and he started taking over, they were dealing a lot with a lot of like real world scenario situations that were happening. And there was a group of people, and I cannot remember them off the top of my head, but there was a group of college students that were protesters that were fighting against the idea of Captain America and all this other stuff. I want to say that might be them. But it might be the Hand, like the hand.
Ugh.
And
I hope not.
The reason why I say it is because I heard a rumor a while back, and I don't know if this is true, but apparently Captain Falcon, I want to say, and the Winter Soldier are both going to Madripoor, and they're going to be fighting because Baron Zemo is going to escape. I guess after the snap or whatever, and they had like less guards in the prison place where they were at or whatnot. I guess he found a way to get out, and he's going to escape to Madripoor, which is this Tortuga style island where a bunch of villains go.
Yeah.
So, and in recent comic books, Wolverine has been around Madripoor because he was trying to get his healing factor back. X-23, her almost origin story of her being an assassin starts in Madripoor, or I think it's Madripoor, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Madripoor, but yeah.
Madripoor, right? it's just this really weird place where these characters go, where a lot of villains go. So I have this idea that when they go there, the hand is going to be a very important thing in there. I mean, it's always been like kind of like the foot soldiers in the Ninja Turtles movies.
Yeah.
So like the idea of the hand wanting to come back and do something, but I just don't know what they would want. You know what I mean? Like the hand, I understand, like they'll steal a body, imbue it with some evil magic shit, and bring him back as an evil person.
Yeah.
But Cap's not dead. Like, and that's
fuck.
like, it's very, very weird because I see people online, like on different like group chats that are kind of like putting up these like sad images of like Sam Wilson and an overshadowing picture of Captain America, like looking above him, almost like it's a memoriam of him being gone. And I'm like, yo, he's not dead. He's old. And Captain America as an old man was not a slouch, dude. Like, don't sleep on him. He was still one of the biggest, craziest motherfuckers in the comic book realms. Because he was in charge of the Dark Avengers and he was in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a bit. And he did some crazy shit. This is some amazing shit as old man Steve Rogers. Like, amazing storyline. So, I don't know, man. It's for one thing, I'm excited as fuck. For what they've even done with WandaVision, where I was kind of like, with WandaVision before it came out. Now I'm super invested. Episode 6 came out and it blew my expectations out of the water again. And Robert was putting up some stuff with me online the other night where I was talking about, I have a feeling like at the ending of the WandaVision season, it's going to be a very Superboy Prime kind of situation, which I'm kind of thinking it's going to go with. But do you feel, because the thing is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, both of the actors, they're like best friends.
Yeah.
They're like super close. They even do like all their conventions together. Like these guys have a great relationship on and off camera. Do you feel, because my mentality about this show originally was it was going to be the Winter Soldier educating Falcon on how to be Captain America.
And I still think that it very well could.
But the thing is this goes off of the argument, not really the argument, but the idea of, do you think the idea of them putting Falcon as Captain America when he is a strong, independent character, being that he's a minority that's grown in the last decade as a superhero? Like, do you think it's good for them to repraise him onto a role of a white character and delete the idea of the Falcon? I kind of feel like at the ending of this series, he's going to be, yes, a Captain America, but he's still going to be the Falcon.
I agree with you on that. Like,
I think it's a perfect scenario for them to put it the right way.
Yeah.
Because they did it in the comic books and a lot of people didn't take it good. A lot of people didn't take it good. Because, of course, you have a strong character with rich history, and then you just slap a popular character, a popular white character name on him just to get him to sell comics. Where we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Anthony Mackie as an actor literally almost resurrected the character of Falcon again to give him such awesome camaraderie, and everybody likes reading about him now. Like, so he kind of re-picked him up, like re-picked that character up to a better standard, almost saving the comic book, just like Blade did back in the 90s or whatever, 2000 or whatever. So
yeah, for sure.
And right now it's very, very important for the minority characters to have their own voice. Because we were talking about this before the show, and we were saying, with the way WandaVision is and the way things are going on in that show with some of the characters, do you think they are going to speedline the idea of them making a Young Avengers film or a Champions film? Like, do you feel that coming?
I mean, now that you mention it, I can see it coming because right now I know that they're really, really trying to hit on the more lesser known
characters.
Well, just the more lesser known teams.
Okay, I can see that. How do you feel it's going to be taken, though?
I think a lot of people are gonna hit or miss it.
Yeah. It's because it's crazy. I mean, the Young Avengers comic book has been around for a long time,
Yeah.
but a lot of the characters that they're introducing right now are characters that have been recently introduced, right?
Yeah.
Now the Wanda children, they've been around for a pretty long time. Like they've been around for a pretty good while.
Yeah.
Even the idea of them possibly introducing Hulkling, right? Like Hulkling, he's been okay with the richness of story, but it wasn't, I feel like, until Empire that he got a really good standing for himself.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, I feel like, yeah, he had been in some stuff, but he wasn't really like in the forefront. I mean, he really got called out when Dr. Banner became an episode and Banner was going around kind of dunking all the other Hulks of the world.
Yeah.
And Hulkling gets jumped, and then you find out he's not technically really a Hulk, that he was a Kree slash
Scroll hybrid.
Skrull hybrid, right?
Yeah.
And that's when he was like, oh, well. And then he kind of just left him alone, and they never really had anything else with that. It wasn't until like mid 2000s, 15, 16, that they tried to push on the relationship between Wiccan and Hulkling, that he kind of had a reprise in his role again. But it wasn't until recently that they started reintroducing the Young Avengers back to the comic books and Empire that it didn't get any traction.
Yeah.
But this goes off of the idea, like with Falcon, where he has a huge fan base when it comes to the history and the lore of his character. But you have the introduction of characters like Riri Williams, Kamala Khan, that's been pushed to the forefront of most of like the Avengers stories and being called Miss Marvel, and all of this stuff that's going on right now. Like, do you feel like if Marvel streamlines the film to make Young Avengers, do you feel like it'll be taken correctly? Or do you feel like it'll be people like, there'll be a lot of people that are thinking it's a cash grab?
Yeah, dude, that's one of those, like, it really just could go either way right now, because it's one of those like they're needing to pull from a younger audience, like
Yes.
the original audience, while it is there and it's still very prominent, is only going to give you so much attention. Now they need to broaden that audience base, and I think that's kind of why they're going with the younger teams right now and the more fresher teams. And because I think in their mind, everyone might just be essentially a little bit tired of the Avengers.
Well, right now, I think in the film wise, I believe they're in the disbanded arc of the stories. Like, I could see it being like, this is the disbanded era, which is introducing the House of M stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Because disbanded happened right before House of M. So like right now there technically is no Avengers. I think we speculated in the Black Widow episode that we had like at the beginning of last year that we thought they were going to introduce the Thunderbolts with
And
the Black
that's
Widow
still
film.
and that's still one of those, like, it very well could.
Oh yeah. I think so. It could happen. I mean, with the idea of them doing the Black Widow film coming up later this year, them bringing Baron Zemo into the fold with the Winter Soldier and Falcon story, like, yeah, there's still a huge possibility it could happen. But the only thing is, do you think that this could be a positive or a negative for a character like Riri Williams? Like bringing her into the films already? Being that the character was introduced to the comic book lines maybe last year. Let's just say I'm going to give her a chance last year, literally during the ending of Civil War II, which wasn't even taken good by the comic book community. It wasn't even accepted well. Riri Williams was introduced. Now they've already got an actress lined up for her character.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe, being that how strong the films have been, how well they've been accepted, and how well they've done with creating them, that Riri Williams' character has a chance to be built faster in the films than in the comics? I actually think so.
I mean, I can see it. Yeah, I really can. I'm still just very on the like heels of the fact that she was just barely introduced, period.
Yeah.
You know, granted, she had a pretty good. I mean, in my opinion, she had a pretty good reception in Marvel's Avengers. You know, the video game. I thought it was
Okay.
I thought it was an amazing take. I really enjoyed playing her. But at the same time, it's still kind of like one of those like, all right, you know, we've got this amazing character. What are we gonna do now?
You know what? There's a part of me that thinks that, okay, for sure the comic books didn't get Riri Williams right at the very beginning, like when they introduced her.
Yeah,
it felt very rushed and it felt very pushed. Nowadays, I'm not really sure what they're doing with her character in the comics. Because I wasn't a very intrigued character when she first was written, I'm not really trying to catch up with her character right now. I know that she did have a small story arc when it came to Iron Man with Doctor Doom. I know that they kind of like met face to face because Riri Williams was supposed to be Ironheart, who was supposed to take up the mantle when Iron Man passed away.
and I'm so fucking glad she didn't.
Yeah, and then Doctor Doom at the same time was doing the same thing, and they met somewhere. They met somewhere in the middle, and Doctor Doom was kind of like, "I like what you're doing, child. You know, just stay clear of me while I do my thing." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, that's Doctor Doom for you. You know, if he's gonna pull some shit out, he wants to be the very best at it. That's Doctor Doom. But maybe the film gives them an opportunity to flesh out the character better and introduce some lore to her that you can't do in the comic books because you don't have the years. The thing is like, it's kind of like we were talking about earlier, right? Like, with the situation on Darcy's character, like, what are they going to do with her now? Like, now they have the possibility of introducing her as a whole new character to the Marvel landscape, even though she's kind of been there in the background. But now they have a whole new thing. My biggest thing about comic books in the last couple of years is if every time right now Marvel or DC as a comic book company does create a new character and throws it in the fold, and it's not accepted by comic book readers that have been hardcore diehard fans, but newer readers are accepting it because of the person's culture, race, standings in society or whatnot, where is it okay then? Like, what does the comic book company have to do to be able to introduce a new character and everybody be happy? Because like lo and behold, you know, we want more minority characters, right? There's a lot of people that want more diversity in comic books.
Yeah.
So what the comic book industry said was like, okay, cool. Here's Moon Girl. Here's Riri Williams. Here's the Red Locust. Here's this character. Here's that character. Minorities, take them.
Yeah.
And then when they did that, they were like, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't do that. Trash. Can't do that. Trash. You know, fucking can't do that. But it's like, well, then how do you do it? Like, how can someone right now? Because going back to Civil War II, right? There was a lot of introduction of new characters when it came to the Terrigen Mist being released in the world. There was a lot of new characters being developed. And they even introduced that one dude that was an Inhuman that everyone hated in the Civil War II that could kind of see the future, but it could be manipulated.
Oh, Ulysses.
Ulysses. Like, they introduced the character with a whole kind of brand new power that you see it does have a negative to its aspect, and people shit on him when they put him into a major character role. Because he ended up being a major factor in Civil War II and in Captain Hydra in the Secret Invasion. Well, you ended up finding out that Captain America was the one that was getting him to see like the whole Captain America death scene by Miles Morales. He was the one that was putting things in his head.
Ah, yes.
He was the reason. So Captain America was the reason that kid was seeing shit. So like he needed that kid to see that there was a Skrull armada headed to Earth, and they needed to send all the heavy fucking hitters and the planet up to space to stop them, which was Carol Danvers, Hyperion, Quasar. Everyone got sent into space to deal with those guys, the armada that was coming.
Yeah.
But Captain America was the one that kidnapped the Scree Queen, and that's why they were coming to get her. So when they sent them out into space, he covered the Earth with the shield and left all the other heroes on the planet, and fucking Cap swarmed them with Hydra as easy as he could. But it was Captain America that was using Ulysses, which was the character that they just introduced for that scene or that role. Which was two comic book arcs.
I remember him in Captain Hydra. I remember him just in Civil War 2. And I mean,
Ulysses. He was just in that. But it was his visions that created the armada coming. He was the plot for it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The thing is Captain Marvel was going off of the visions that Ulysses was having.
Yeah,
and that's what created Civil War 2.
That was the dichotomy. Do you arrest him before? Do you arrest someone before the crime, or do you arrest them during the crime?
But the reason why he was seeing all that stuff was, don't forget also that Captain Hydra was the reason why Immortal Hulk came back. He was practically the reason. I take that back.
Yeah,
he uses the technology of the hand to bring Banner back in one of the scenes when they're trying to go after everybody in Civil War 2. And that's because Captain's using all of these, like, he's kind of manipulating everybody. So like the scene when they sing, do you remember the one in Civil War 2 when you see the vision of Miles Morales killing Captain America?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was brought on.
That was supposed to be Captain Hydra, and that's what everyone saw, and then that's why they were like,
well, he had already been changed.
Yeah,
Captain had already been changed by that time. So he was already Captain Hydra in that sense because he got changed during Pleasantville, the story arc in Pleasantville. So you have all of that part, and there's a whole bunch of like different characters that get established during this comic book line. And even that, the Champions comic book was prominent, which is when they introduced Viv, which is the daughter of Vision, like as a character that like the Awesome Hulk, Amadeus Cho, Totally Awesome Hulk falls in love with. Sam Alexander, right? Or is it Sam Houston?
Sam Alexander.
Sam Alexander, right? Yeah. He is the younger variation of Nova, who has the helmet of Richard Rider.
No, of his father.
Of his father, right? Who was a Nova?
Who was also a Nova.
Yeah, but he's also getting images of Richard Rider, telling him to do stuff because it's the what's the higher Nova called? The main one?
Oh, Nova Prime?
The Nova Prime, right? Is coming to him and telling him, but it brings him as an image of Richard Rider.
Yeah.
It's very weird. But that's when they're pushing on the Young Avengers more. Which, if you break it down in the concept of it, you have your, like we were talking about earlier, Avengers disassembled. You have your House of M situation that's going on in the films. You have your Captain America Falcon storyline that's prominent right now. There is a group of protesters in that story that they even introduced this other black character named Rage, who is another like street level superhero / anti-hero. Wears like a lucha mask and a vest. He like beats the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. They introduce him, which is right around the time that Civil War 2 starts. Death of Tony Stark, which just happened in the film. Introducing Riri Williams, which is going to happen soon, which brings to fold Miss Marvel and the Champions. Like everything is, if you think about it, slowly coming together loosely based on the comic book arcs that were happening during like maybe 5 to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like slowly it's coming together in the films. So when they introduced Riri Williams, by now in the comics, we'll have a little bit more history to her. But I feel that the films are going to give you the really, really great opportunity to build these characters up stronger than they were in the comic book line. Like, and it's good, man, because Marvel needs new characters.
Yeah.
Marvel really, really does need new characters. You look at DC right now is hitting Future State like crazy, dude. Like Future State, we were just talking about, right? Future State?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, they're literally hitting it so hard right now. We were just talking about how they were already talking about creating a Wonder Woman television show based on the Brazilian Wonder Woman on the Arrowverse.
Yeah, and that fucking came to
that fell through, and it's probably because of the fact that there's not enough background for her. Like they don't have enough to go on story wise, and they don't want it to be another Batwoman scenario, right?
Because it very well would have been.
Definitely.
I would have called it right now. I'd have been like, "Yep, this is gonna suck."
Yeah, because there's nothing to go on character wise.
Yeah, no, nothing.
Like there's nothing to go on. But I hear that Future State is still doing pretty solid. I still hear some really, really great things. The other thing I heard on, because DC is probably where the next big news is going to be coming out of in the next couple of days. Yeah. Sunday, I think, is when they are dropping the Snyder cut for the trailer, right? They're dropping a trailer for the Snyder cut. We recently got some IGN trailer footage of the Gotham video game that's going to be dealing with the ending of, or the passing of Batman and the 4 Robins coming up and taking over,
or just the Batman or the Bat family. But
yeah, the Bat dude, it looks
honestly, man, I like only because I already know that it's Batman, but I think he became a Talon that the Court of Owls got his.
And you know what? I think when we talked about this video game,
they made him into a Talon.
I think when we talked about this video game the first time, you mentioned how you were excited to hopefully that they do that.
Yeah.
And dude, lo and behold, dude, that trailer shows us that it's going to be really, really based on the Court of Owls.
Yep.
Which, that's awesome, dude. Court of Owls. Not only that, the video game is going to be co-op. It's going to be open world.
Yeah, dude.
And it looks good, fantastic, dude.
It's going to be real good.
That fucking video game looks fantastic, which kind of makes me hope that the Suicide Squad video game is going to be just as good.
Oh, you're cute.
The video game, not the movie.
Yeah,
I think the movie's gonna be good. James Gunn is a good director, even though
he is an amazing director.
Yeah, so I think he'll be able to bring it, and I think DC needs to kind of like allow their creators to have a little bit more creative influence on their films.
Yeah,
and I think when they see the success of Suicide Squad, they're gonna start to go that way, and then the same thing with the Zack Snyder film. What does Kyle say here? Gotta cannibalize established characters to meet an agenda. People thought that what happened with Miles Morales, but because most people don't actually read comics. You know, that's true. And this goes off of the idea of when they make films, like how do they do it? How do they make the comic book reader happy, and how do they make the audience happy if they've never read the comics? Exactly. Marvel has a really solid way of doing that right now. So that's why I feel like if they want to introduce new characters, I think by doing it by film would probably be a better situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they introduce characters, because you get a lot more people asking questions about the comic books coming from the film more than you get people wanting to get into comic books first before the films.
Yeah.
And that's crazy as hell to me, man, because comic books have been around since the 40s, 50s, 60s. Marvel's been around since fucking 40s. And people still don't know where to start when it comes to reading comics.
Yeah.
But, dude, the films like make it so much easier. Visual representation. This is what is killing books in the first place, is the idea of knowing that you can get your information with your eyes rather than, or by getting it fed to you rather than you having to eat it yourself. Which is like reading books. Like when it comes to like the Lord of the Rings books or the Harry Potter books, like I'd rather see the films than read the books.
No, I get it.
Yeah. But there is a really great imagination exercise that happens when you do read it. So I do recommend people to read the comics. Reading the comics is probably the best way to get more in depth with characters.
I don't think it's just that, dude, but I think you get a little bit more dialogue, and I think you also get more of the feels for it. Because here, let's.
Trigger's gonna go walk and grab something. He looks like he's grabbing an omnibus. Yeah, that's true, Oz. The books do have more details than the movies. That's absolutely correct. But I think the idea of what's going on with comic books to films with Marvel and all that stuff is the idea that you get to have a lot more freedom with the characters. So like look at Ultron. If you go back with the idea, or not Ultron, but look at Vision. Like there's a lot of rich lore when it comes to the character of Vision in the comic books. But there was a part of the comic books that Wonder Man was more of a prominent character than Vision himself. And that's because in the comics, they got the mentality or the consciousness or the personality from Wonder Man, put that into Vision, and then you had your green and purplish Vision. And then they removed it and he became like the white character, which is what's going on in the WandaVision television show.
So it's downstairs, but I was gonna bring my my Secret Wars book. Secret Wars, other than what's the story right before? For the incursions.
Okay.
Yeah, are like my favorite Marvel stories. Other than I want to say Siege. And,
I get you. I get you.
But like it's one thing to like have Rob, Jefferson have him just tell you the story, and explain it. And he does fantastic in it, by the way. He does fantastic. And you still get the feels. But to read the story and read it and have it progress in front of you, instead of have Rob kind of delve into certain details that need that explanation, and it kind of takes away from the fact that like, oh, I should be feeling something right now.
Yes.
And that's why like, you and I, we enjoy the read for it because it's necessary for us to get that exact point across of like, oh, this is the depth of that situation, or this is the gravity or the severity of the situation, because you read it and you're like, oh shit, this is bad, or another good one that I still love to this day is Fear Itself, where
Fear Itself was a good book. That was a good
where Captain America gets his shield broken and Iron Man gives up his sobriety.
Mm-hmm. That was dude, Fear Itself was a great story too. Kind of slept on if you think about it. Same thing with Siege. Yeah. Same thing with Siege. Like if you're not really about it, like I think in Siege, like the Dark Avengers were the things that were more prominent than the story itself. You know what I mean? Well, Myers here. Myers jumping in. What's up, Myers? How you doing, man? Coming in. The Kick-Ass series was amazing. It left me wanting more from the movies. The movies were a lot more different from the series, but yeah, it's the same process. Like you saw the first film, you dug it. And you were like, what is this from? And then you go off and you read the comic books, the Kick-Ass series, and you're kind of taking into this whole world of the Kick-Ass series that it offers in all the comic books. And you realize that there are certain things the movies can do, or that the comic books can do, that the films can't. Like that's the thing. It's almost like when you look at Marvel's Infinity War to Endgame, there's a huge difference from what the comic book is compared to what the film is.
Yeah.
Huge difference. Huge difference. Even though the film did an exceptionally well with explaining what Infinity Wars was and Endgames was, the comic book is just so much more different. Like it's amazing. It really is. Even the whole like concept behind why Thanos got the jewels in the first place. Like what Thanos had to do to get the jewels is a backstory too. Shit, I don't know if you even remember, Triggs. Do you remember how he got the like the Power Stone?
Not in its entirety, dude. I haven't like read Infinity in quite some time.
Well, because the Infinity Watch, if you think about it at that time, was a bunch of cosmic entities.
Yeah.
So the guy that had it was that one, like that Trison the Champion. It's some weird dude with like big red hair.
Yeah.
And he's like this dude that just literally goes around space kicking the shit out of people for a better fight. That was like literally his call. He had the Power Stone. and Thanos had to get it from him. He had to like trick him, and that's what kind of like that's where you end up getting this idea that Thanos is not just a titan in the sense of strength, but he's like a strategy guy and a smart dude nonetheless.
Yeah.
Like he had to like stump a bunch of dudes, and he did it in such easy fashions to get the stones. Where in the films, he had to go to like the Grand Master or the Collector.
Yeah.
He had to go to this dude and Vision, and like he had to go all these different places. In the comics, it's so much more different. But both of them are fucking fantastic stories. So like I don't know, man. It's interesting where Marvel is going right now.
Yeah.
In the sense of how they're introducing all of these characters. You know, being that it's like Black History Month, there's a lot of people out there that are talking about like Black characters, right? And African American characters that are in the comic book world. One of the most awesomest characters that's super slept on and been slept on for years, but it's kind of like what the comic book industry wanted from it was Blue Marvel, dude.
And you know what, dude? I'm for it.
I'm 100% to see Blue Marvel come out in the fucking films, dude. I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do with Captain Marvel 2 with Monica Rambeau's character. They're really giving her some oomph in the fucking WandaVision, man.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, bro. Like Blue Marvel in the film, man, dude, he'd blow my mind, dude. He would blow my mind, dude. Like, who do you think would be a good cast for Blue Marvel?
Idris Elba.
It just everything is he can't. He's fucking Heimdall.
Oh shit, that's
right,
right.
Dude. He's Heimdall.
Oh, dude, that's
right.
Yeah,
he's a great actor, though, man. He's a great actor. That's literally like one of them.
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes, Blade.
Yeah.
Yo, there was some. I was telling people that I wouldn't mind seeing like Denzel Washington, because Adam Brashear is like an older gentleman.
Yeah.
Like. I wouldn't, dude. I would not have mind seeing that Morpheus guy, even though he played. Oh
yeah, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, Lawrence
even though he's Goliath.
Dude, he would have been an amazing Blue Marvel. I think he would have played because Blue Marvel is such a stoic individual. Like he's so like, dude. He's like, he's literally Superman, like literally Superman, 100%.
Except fucking stupid smart.
Yeah, just super strong, dude. He's so cool. But then you know what? It would be a great introduction for like Anti-Man.
Yeah.
The villain Anti-Man. With all of this stuff that's going on right now in the WandaVision with them breaking reality and doing all this stuff, I'm really excited to see what kind of different powers they're going to be bringing to the Marvel landscape. There was an explanation of nightmares or a nice little callback in one of the recent episodes of the WandaVision where someone said something about nightmares.
Yeah.
It did kind of bring in the idea of them talking about using Nightmare in my thoughts, but I really, really doubt they're going to use him as a villain. But
I do, and I remember, that everyone was on the heels of like, oh, dude, it's going to be Nightmare. It's going to be Nightmare. It's going to be Nightmare. And I was still kind of just like, I mean, I see it, but I just don't
feel it.
So, because it's one of those characters that like nobody knows about.
Yeah, no, like
yeah,
it's a really weird character.
I have very little information about Nightmare.
Yeah, it's a very
big Marvel fan.
Yeah, that's the same way I feel too. Like I just feel like he's not like a very prominent villain where Mephisto would probably be a better villain. Like
I
to show
Mephisto's the perfect villain. I think that she unintentionally made a deal with Mephisto to gain more power because she doesn't know how she's doing this.
Yes.
It's already been established that she has no idea how it is that she gained that much power. Completely unknown to her, and it's been confirmed in this past episode. I think that she might have unknowingly made a deal with Mephisto, and that's how has the power to do what she's doing. But she's like staving him off from collecting.
Okay. I could see that. I could see that as that being a thing. The reason why I'm kind of saying that there is a possibility, so this is going off of my weird like prophecy moments and theorizing when it comes to the Marvel universe. Just like I theorized that they were going to bring out America Chavez, right? And I hit it on the button for no fucking reason. They end up saying America Chavez is coming to the fucking Doctor Strange movie, and that's because I felt the idea of them messing the multiverse up. Like they were gonna need the multiverse paramedic or whatever they call her. Like I'm not excited for what they've done with her in the recent comic book lines, but there are some iterations that I do dig her character. But she's very much like Captain Marvel. Recently, I think they just casted another female for Captain Marvel 2. I'm not really sure what role she's going to play because Captain Marvel as a character, I'm not really into. But just like DC is doing Future State after the Return of the King, what was that? The Black King or whatever?
King in Black.
King in Black, right? After that, the next arc that they're talking about is a whole new series called Heroes Reborn. Did you read about that?
Yeah.
And Heroes Reborn they're going to be going back and retelling the Marvel landscape of a world with no Avengers. They're removing the idea of the Avengers being characters in the comic book line. And what they're doing is they're streamlining to the front line the Squadron Supreme of the Americas or some of the United States.
Yeah, because I mean Hyperion is already there. Like
yeah.
there's a shot of Hyperion. There's one of Blade.
I think there's even one. Like I think in the second episode or in the second comic book, it's Hyperion versus like the X-Men.
Yeah,
that's fucking nuts, dude. Like, okay, so I think I've mentioned this a million times probably, but I'm a huge Hyperion fan.
No.
Yeah. Hyperion to me is okay. So he's not better. He's not better than Superman. I'll 100% agree with anybody on that. He is not better than Superman. Clark
Kent, would he give him a run for his money?
Yeah, I mean, okay, fighting wise, he'd give him a run. Same thing with the Sentry. He'd give Superman a run for his money. But Superman is Superman. Clark Kent is the man. Like I'll never take that from him.
Yeah, he's a plot point. I don't give a fuck
about Hyperion was that he was the on 616 path journey in the Marvel universe of the Injustice variation of Superman.
Yeah.
He was the Injustice version. He was the one that was like, well, if he's a criminal, we give him a chance. Once he busts that, you kill him. Yeah, you just kill him. You can't do anything. And then slowly and surely, they built his character stronger up and they made him realize that was wrong. They made him a little bit more of a humanized character. In recent comic books, the All New, All Different brought him back. And they kind of brought in the bromance variation of Hyperion from the Ultimate storyline.
Yeah.
They kind of made him more of that variation because he had such a great attention to audience. Like people loved Hyperion in the Ultimate storyline. Like he was an amazing character, almost a brother to Thor. Like it was
basically was. I mean, it was basically was.
Beautiful story, dude. Beautiful story.
Time runs out. That's what it was called.
Time runs out. Stuff like that. It was right before the incursions.
Yes.
Now the reason
it was actually during the incursions. It was during the incursions.
Oh yeah, because it was leading into the incursions, right?
No, it was taking place during the incursions.
During the incursions. Well, it was leading up to the ending part. Like that
it was leading up into Secret Wars. Time runs out leads like
right into Secret
storyline is called Time Runs Out.
Yeah.
And then obviously that leads into Secret Wars.
Yeah. So it was the ending. It was the ending of the Ultimates multiverse, ending with Hyperion and Thor fighting the Beyonders in the very end. A beautiful, beautiful fucking story. If you have the opportunity, like you have to check it out. That whole comic book run is amazing. But when they brought back Hyperion and All New, All Different after Battle World, it kind of seemed like that was the Hyperion that stayed. Because he was more kind of down to earth, chill, helping humanity, not being like the dickhead superhero Hyperion douchebag that they had written him in, which is what you see a lot in the cartoon variations of Hyperion in the Ultimate Avengers comics and video games and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But Hyperion was a really, really cool villain. King Hyperion was a cool villain to Blue Marvel for a while. And the reason why I have a feeling like that one of these two characters is going to be making his entrance soon is one, I think Hyperion might make himself or the Squadron Supreme itself known in the multiverse of madness when they're doing their different versions, because I kind of feel that it's a very weird situation that right now in our lifetime, they're about to release a comic book of a world with no Avengers. They're about to release a film about different worlds and different universes in the Marvel universe, multiverse, or whatever you want to call it. And I feel like one of those iterations is they're going to visit that planet. Maybe it's going to be like a quick kind of like go through or whatnot, or maybe be like there and you're going to see like almost like a Justice League, like silhouettes of all the characters. And then you'll see like Hyperion's eyes light up and you'll see the sign or something. Like I just feel
what I could very much see, and I see this more happening in, kind of especially with multiverse and stuff like that. I can see something like that going and happening in Doctor Strange, because I know that they're going to like phase through and just not jump to jump, but I think what he's gonna do is he's gonna do a spell and he's gonna just kind of like window shop all of the different multiverses, and you're gonna see little glimpses of this and that. And in one of them, I bet I can almost see a Hyperion-esque figure with like the sign or just a silhouette and his symbol, and like that's his cameo, and that's it. And that's and they go from there.
Like I kind of feel like, and then that would be a really great way to get the audience or people in the audience to be like, whoa, what is that? And then lo and behold, Marvel itself as a company releases a whole new arc of a world with no heroes, just those guys, no Avengers. You know what I mean? Putting Hyperion.
Even Myers thinks that that's a great little teaser, man.
It's a good segue back into comic books.
Yeah, because that's something that would happen in the comic books. Yeah. That's something that's comic book-esque that you can bring to the movies that does not take away from continuity and still introduces a huge turning point for your MCU and for like your comic books, and still keeps it like relatively on point.
Yeah, I think there's so much stuff that the Doctor Strange film that's coming up can do that could kind of clean up a lot of the problems that had been happening in the Marvel universe recently.
I agree.
Yeah, like I mean, even what's going on in WandaVision right now, it's very important to understand what happened in. I'm not going to give any spoilers if you haven't seen it, but the person they introduce in episode 5, that audience is the moment everything changes in the Marvel universe. It's literally the pebble or the floodgate to what we've all been praying the Marvel universe finally gets.
And it's just about to happen.
Yeah, it literally, with that right there, it's literally what we've been asking for years. What's up, Ron? How you doing, man?
Thanks a lot, brother.
Much, man. Guys, we're living history in the Marvel universe. Like, this is history in the comic book world.
Dude, this is history in the movie world, man. And like in cinema,
times, like, what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive to see comic books be turned into such amazing films. Amazing films. Like the idea that right now Hollywood is arguing amongst itself if hero movies should be up for Academy Awards. They're
100%.
arguing
100%.
You know what? Like they're arguing about it. They don't know if they should or they shouldn't. And that right there is amazing, because people from back in the day that made fun of comics and said it wasn't important and said they weren't good, like now they're having to argue amongst each other. They're eating themselves, telling themselves that they don't understand if it shouldn't, because the way that they are being produced now is award winning. And then like, I mean, I don't want to shit on it, but the DC universe has kind of slacked and it's kind of stayed with the old traditional ways of filmmaking. Marvel and Disney kind of allowed this like almost reinvention of superhero genre films and now it's creating sub stories where like sci-fi, and soon they'll have horror. Like I've had people tell me that they've been watching WandaVision, and in certain scenes they feel like a certain dread, like fear, like a suspense movie or a horror film.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, look at what Kyle just said, dude. You know, like I think that statement alone is perfect to summarize the way that WandaVision is going right now.
That's true. Dude, I cannot fucking wait. The implication of the last scene is amazing to see realized. That's absolutely correct, man. I think for years, and this goes off of what we were saying earlier. I think for years we've kind of gone with the idea of like, how can you define Wanda Maximoff's power? Like for years, even in the comic books, we've been confused as fuck.
Yeah.
Because she's like, one moment she's throwing laser beams from her hands. The next moment she's getting people to do stuff with their mind. The next, she changes the entire landscape of the world and gives everybody their deepest, darkest desire to make everyone happy. And the only person that doesn't get it is Wolverine because he has a healing factor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how, man? How? And here you have the films or the WandaVision in the show giving a really great reality variation of what we've all wanted to know for years. Yeah, Ron, absolutely correct. Marvel and Disney is making great headway for that. Huge, bro. Huge, man. You know what? He's absolutely correct, dude. Look at what he just put right here. I can't wait for anime movies to be done correctly and legit. You know what? Like, it's coming, man. I literally 100% is coming. Like, everybody sees the popularity in the superhero genre. But what a lot of people are starting to realize right now is how much anime is making headway. Like, dude, on Twitter and Twitch and all these other places, Attack on Titan is literally like #1 in Twitch when one episode drops.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's amazing the numbers that a lot of these animes are getting like right off of the drop. And then not only that, the mangas are just as popular. Like we were talking about My Hero Academia, the manga right now, like it's on fire, dude. And then not only that,
and
like
no pun intended with that current chapter right now.
Dude, oh my god, dude, it's so good, dude. Like literally it made national news that Attack on Titan only has 2 chapters left in the anime left. In the manga, it's only got 2 books left. And then the whole series comes to an end. When was the last time you ever heard of an anime making news like that?
Hello, sweetheart. Never,
dude. Like I can't imagine the last time someone was like, "Oh man, dude, 2 more mangas." Time News or fucking TMZ. 2 more chapters.
It's so fucking weird, dude. Because Attack on Titan is good, yeah, but I didn't think it was that good.
I didn't think, dude. I really didn't think it was gonna be that good either. I'm not even gonna lie, but you know what? Like I was just telling someone about this the other day. That low key Attack on Titan has actually, without blasting itself out in the middle of nowhere, has explained to people how destructive being a hateful culture can be. Like, because of the fact that when you look at the 2 factions of people that are living, the people that are at war with each other are people that hated each other because of who they were race-wise. It's literally like a race war anime. It literally shows the destructive nature of being a hateful person and what you can create. And dude, I'm literally watching episodes crying on cartoon characters dying, bro. They're not even real people, and I'm fucking dying because of how invested I am in the story. Like Attack on Titan is, man, it's amazing. It's amazing on where the idea of like animations and stories like this are being taken with production quality nowadays. Super amazing, dude. Super amazing. We were just talking about a record of Ragnarok. I can't wait for that to drop, dude. I can't wait for that to drop.
Dude, and that's gonna and for anyone who like gives a shit, and we've hit on it a little bit. I mean, I have mentioned before more or less like what the the manga is about, and I recommended it to Chris, and Chris was kind of like, oh man, I don't know, like it was like
I'm on the fence about a lot of animes because I'm an
Yeah.
old school dude, man. I don't like cookie cutter shit. I don't like it to follow the same pattern that everything else does. But you know,
and like rightfully so, because like if you take it at like face value, it still kind of is cookie cutter. But man, dude, the fucking character progression in these like in this manga is beautiful, beautiful. And so like the 5-minute cliff notes, because we're coming up on time anyway.
Yeah.
So 5-minute cliff notes is that Record of Ragnarok takes place in like essentially like current day, but you never get to really see that. But it's about the overall pantheon of gods, like every god in existence, pantheon of gods is like sitting and deliberating, like, hey, do we exterminate humanity or do we let them live for another like 6 million years or some shit like that? And so they're like, well, fuck it, dude, they haven't really done anything and they're all destructive. Fuck it, let them die. We're gonna end it. And this Valkyrie, she's like, no, you can't do that. Like, there's a clause in like this book that you all wrote that says that they have the chance to redeem themselves over a tournament. 13 gods versus 13 humans, and whoever wins gets to stay. And so they're like, well, fuck it, tournament it is. And so they take some of the most prolific warriors in human history,
like actual fucking people in human history.
Yeah, and then they pit them against some of the most influential gods in human history. And these fights are fucking brutal.
And they're good. They're hands down good. And there's like off the top of my head, best thing that I've ever read, and I know it's probably not like the best, but so far my favorite one has been Adam from the Bible, Adam and Eve
versus Odin
versus fucking Zeus.
Yeah, Zeus. Yeah, that's right.
Like, but the way that the way that the guy who created the manga, the story writer, the way he implements that Adam kind of has a special power and what it is, and then why God created him and why he's like the best human ever. Oh my God, dude. In my mind, I was like, yo, I've read the Bible like 5 times in my whole entire life. How come I never seen Adam this way before in my life?
Right.
Like where he's almost like a super powered human being or a superhuman or has an ability that he's equal to the gods. I was like, it makes you look at history in a different way, and it's awesome. It's so good, so good. But like we're saying, nowadays, like the production value of all these mangas and animes and stuff like that, like the next iteration is for them to come into film and be done correctly, which is what we're hoping for BoarderLands, the fucking game. Cause like that Monster Hunter movie was, oh man. I'm going to try to watch it this coming weekend though. I'll try to watch Monster Hunter and I'm going to give my honest opinion on,
dude, I'll watch it too. That way. Yeah.
You know what? You even told me about the New Mutants film.
Yeah.
And I finally had gotten around to seeing it and I was not disappointed. Like I was like, okay, cool. Like, it's cool. Like,
if you take it for what it is, it's not a bad movie.
Not because it kind of feels like the way the First Class films were done.
Yeah.
Which I mean, yeah, the Fox films compared to, Marvel and the Disney universe, they don't have the type of money Marvel does. They don't have the source material or the backing for it. And it is what it is. And I thought it was super great. But yeah, super good. Oh, Oz is like, wait, what are we talking about? We were talking about
Record of
a little bit of anime and stuff like that. But guys, we're going to be coming to an end pretty soon. And we actually have a special announcement.
Indeed.
Don't we, Trigger?
Indeed, we do.
Okay, so I'm going to give the floor to Trigger because he has a crazy thing. So anybody that's out there listening right now, our readers or our watchers, our commenters, our guys that are in here, our fans, our people that we love, our extraordinary listeners, as I always call you guys, we have a special announcement. Triggs, take it away.
So, April 18th, me and Audrey will be leaving to Florida, and we will be going to Disney. Now, our first day, April 19th, will consist of Galaxy's Edge. Right. So we're obviously going to have some great food, some great drinks. We're going to, experience Savi's workshop, and we're going to, go to the Den of Antiquities, Wow. And so with that being said, we are going to be participating in what is called the Black Kyber Crystal Challenge. If any of you guys would like to contribute to that challenge, we graciously accept. So for anyone who does not know, the Black Kyber Crystal Challenge is a very, very, very exclusive and a very, very rare Kyber crystal that is sold at the Den of Antiquities, and it has now been packaged differently so that you can no longer find that Black Kyber crystal on the shelves. And on top of that, they're packaged so that you can no longer shine your light to find a Black Kyber crystal anymore. It is completely random. The color of the Kyber crystal itself of the lightsaber itself doesn't really change all that much from a red Kyber crystal. It's a little bit darker, but not too much.
It's like a blood red, right?
Yeah, it's more of a blood red than like a
still
bright, than like the
still cool as fuck, Trigger.
Yeah. So, but with that being said, we are going to be, I believe, dedicating like 120 or about $100 of our own money for the Kyber Crystal Challenge. If any of you guys would love to participate, we would graciously accept. With that being said, on Friday, I want to say April 24th, when we have that show, I will obviously be in Orlando, and we will still have our show. No questions, but we will be holding on to all of those Kyber crystals and showing them to you to see if we get the magical Black Kyber crystal.
Awesome. And with that, guys,
and we will also be doing a giveaway. We will be doing a giveaway.
If I'm not mistaken, Trigger said that the crystals themselves roughly cost about $20.
Yes.
So I'll be donating $100 to this. So with the 120, I'm going to donate an extra 100. So from the 6 Kyber crystals that we should be getting, should be able to get 5 more, which would give us that crazy opportunity to hopefully get a Black Kyber crystal. We are going to do a giveaway. I believe the giveaway could possibly be the Black Kyber crystal if it's cool enough, but more than likely
we'll have to ask the wife. So, I'm going to have to ask my wife on that.
Yeah. But the idea is we are, with the extra Kyber crystals that we get, hopefully we're able to get some of the Kyber crystals and do those as the giveaway. And these will be Kyber crystals directly from Disney. So that's actually really fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I just want
on top of that something. And then on top of that, her and I will also be getting some stuff at the Den of Antiquities so that we can have a proper giveaway other than just the Kyber crystals. But nonetheless, guys, we are going. It is going to happen, and there will be a great giveaway for all of you gracious and amazing listeners.
Boom. Thank you guys so much. Hey, so yes, guys, stay close to us. We are going to be announcing how we'll be doing the giveaway. We'll be breaking that all down. We'll be making sure that we make it. Of course, it's going to be like a share, like, subscribe, send, tag 20 people or whatever it is that all these new age content creators do. But there's some really cool opportunity for you to get some. Yeah, Trigger's is going to start an OnlyFans account. Yep. It's going to be wiggling it. It's going to be wiggling all that action, man. Just fucking.
you're going to have to pay me $20 to put my fucking clothes back on.
We're going to be doing a giveaway soon. You're going to get some really cool, crazy loot from Disneyland and all that stuff after the honeymoon. We're going to have a special episode on that. Hopefully we'll talk about Disneyland itself. You can tell us about the entire experience. And actually,
indeed will.
Cool. Hopefully Trigger's able to record some stuff, get some video of the opportunity that he's been there, because right now on the program that we use for our streams, they do offer the opportunity for us to show video files. So during our stream, we should be able to actually show Disneyland and all the stuff that Triggs and Audrey are going to be getting through, and all the cool rides and all the cool opportunities they're going to have. Not only that, we get to see the actual situation of Disney during the virus situation and stuff like that. So Triggs is going to be out there live interviewing. But I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the giveaway, man. I'm excited to see crazy Disneyland, Star Wars, Avengers loot. Whoa.
Dude, we're gonna be I'm on top of that. We're gonna be showing off our lightsabers that we built at Savi's workshop. So I'm like, as it is, I'm already fucking stoked for that.
Super excited, super stoked. But yeah, guys, so stay close, pay attention to what we're doing. Make sure you guys are following us on all our different things. We'll stay active a little bit more on the Facebook when it comes closer to the giveaway. Hashtag Trigger Audrey honeymoon giveaway announcement, Star Wars, all that good stuff. Guys, we love you. Stay safe. Tell someone you love them. Make sure you're wearing your masks and being cool. And yeah, we want to thank you guys for tuning into the show. We appreciate you guys. And we'll see you guys again next Friday here on our Facebook channel. Don't forget, we also have our Google, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all the good places. Go on
iHeartRadio.
Tell your friends about them. Tell them they can be nerds with us and tell them they can join us. Guys, we appreciate you. And we'll see you guys again next Friday, 9 p.m. here on the Average Boys Podcast. Laters, everyone.